CQ, the old friend's net, 160 meter version thereof. Let me do some tuning up here. CQ, the old friend's net. This is N4LQ, November 4, Lima, Quebec. Steve in Shelby, North Carolina. And that meets here at 8 o'clock on 160 on 1864. And also on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. on 3715 kilocycles, I should say. Thursday, same frequency, same time. And the big one on Sunday at 4 p.m., 3715 kilohertz. So, let's see if we can get some check-ins tonight. This is N4LQ.
W4JPL.
W4JPL. Congratulations, you are the first check-in tonight, so you won the grand prize, but we haven't decided what that is yet. Anyway, John, how's it going? Everything's peachy here in Shelby. Too cold, I think. I don't like this cold weather, but it's something that just happens every January, and I just don't feel like going out in it. What about you? W4JPL, N4LQ.
N4LQ, W4JPL. Well, yeah, it's been cold out. I've been working outside off and on most of the day, moving stuff around. So, yeah, it's been non-stop busy. So, this is the first night in a few days I haven't been too tired to turn the radio on. I'm working my little tail off. So that's what's happening here. I got to get up early in the morning and go over to Kernersville to go get my once a month shot, which is way overdue because of COVID. So I'll get that done. N4LQ, W4JPL.
W4JPL, N4LQ. Well, you sound good tonight. I didn't hear any anomalies or any sneezing, coughing, or hacking, so be careful what you get shot with. And I can't imagine how you could be so busy. That just amazes me. I didn't do diddly squat all day. Well, we did go over to Taco Bell. We have to do that on Tuesday. And ate some terrible food. That's a new Taco Bell in town, and it's got all kinds of problems. Last week we went there, and they were out of CO2, so they could not make any fizzy soft drinks. So we went to the one on the other end of town. So we went back today to the same new place. This time it was 11:45 in the morning now, and they didn't have any Pepsi. They only had root beer. So she wanted root beer, and they had Diet Pepsi, but not real Pepsi. So I got the Diet Pepsi, which is what I usually do. I can't figure out how you can be out of stuff before the day even starts, but that's the way it works at Taco Bell. Who wants to check in? N4LQ, call me.
You're just a popular guy tonight. Has check-ins been light last few days?
Yeah, a little bit. Let's see. Last night we had, I don't know, about 4 people, I think. After a while, they start showing up. They'll probably be here pretty soon. Oh, man, I've been doing this new stretch exercise. It's supposed to strengthen your lower back. It's called the modified Superman. You lay down on your stomach on the floor and put your hands down to your side, and then you lift your face up as far as you can without using your arms. I can kind of see where that looks like the Superman. But other than that, it's the most strenuous thing I've done. Oh, the FedEx guy did bring a kit, a bookcase. XYL wanted another bookcase, so I got to put that together tomorrow, I guess. Unless when I get back from the old friends and that luncheon, she may already have it done. I don't know. But once that gets done, then it's move the furniture in the office bedroom place again. That's going to be, I mean, I don't know how many times I've done this. I think every year it's like a major changeover in that room. Anybody else want to check in 4LQ? Well, that's the way it goes. Anyway, so yeah, the Superman, the modified Superman, is the squeeze the buns together and lift up your face, and I guess that's why it's modified. He probably didn't do all that, but somewhat. I never did study that part that close.
Okay, well, we have an exercise this week, but hoping we can go on Friday. I'm getting plenty of exercise moving crap around in this house. And as far as bookshelves concerned, I've had a fancy, I go down every once in a blue moon, a couple times a year to IKEA, and they've got these glass display cabinets, and I keep saying one day I'm going to go buy me one of them. That's if I could fit it in my wife's SUV. That's one thing I got to figure out one day before I go and buy such a thing. So I got all these little transformer toys and things I like to display, and bric-a-brac, as it were. Junk, Junque, junk, and I got plenty of it. So, any new radio toys lately? Because I'm bone dry. I haven't bought anything in a long time.
Well, let's see. The only thing, I guess the newest thing here is that rusty AF67 LMAC that came in last week, and it's working now and back together. So there it is. It's there just in case I ever get the urge to run a rusty LMAC. But today I have put on the desk my beloved Amico TX86 for tomorrow's nets in the morning. And I was talking to, let's see, Chad and Cliff and Larry about an hour ago or so, and they all said that's the best sounding one you got. Especially, well, Chad thought it is. He said it's the best sounding rig that you've got, and I've been told that several times. That little dinky thing fits in the palm of my hand, and it puts out about 15 watts, and I have to kind of try to keep the power down when I'm driving the amplifier, but it puts out about 120% modulation. It's got screen and control grid modulation combined. It's modulating both. They call it dual grid modulation, and it's supposed to be, and back then it was supposed to be the latest and greatest thing ever was, and it does seem to work quite well. I really do like that little rig. And IKEA is a long way from here. It's on the other side of Charlotte from me, so that's like pretty close to 50, somewhere between 50 and 60 miles, I guess, from us. That's okay. I didn't really particularly go nuts over the place. I mean, their stuff is kind of, well, I guess the word is Spartan looking, you know, kind of plain, but which is okay, you know, if that's what you want. I guess that's the European look, you know, things that are kind of light colored, and the wood is mostly light colored, and it's just all kind of plain looking, and that's just how they do it. I think they are a European company, if I understand correctly. W4JPL N4LQ.
I thought somebody's going to key up there. N4LQ, W4JPL, fine business. I got a neat little, couple of them actually, neat little 75 meter AM rig, a Novu 75 and a Retro 75. I don't know if I've ever had the Retro 75 on the air, but I have had the Novu. I had it on one day, and I expected everybody to laugh at me, but the guy said it didn't sound bad. So, of course, it's only 4 watts or something like that, so I'd have to pump it into an amplifier if I wanted to really use it. Plus, there's no point in pumping it into an amplifier because the things are deaf, absolutely deaf. And they're, you know, when everybody complained about, you know, how bad the sensitivity was, they said, well, it's only 4 watts, you know. Why would you want to listen to something that you can't work? Which is stupid reasoning in my humble opinion, but there you have it. So that's what's happening. N4LQ, W4JPL.
Would anybody else care to check in to the old friends net, N4LQ?
WB4NKL.
Hallelujah. WB4NKL, N4LQ. Glad you showed up, Cliff. We need the help. And, yeah, I got a Novo 75 sitting in here, and I agree. Its receiver is pretty wimpy. It gets you by when the QRM isn't too bad. I'm thinking it's been a long time since I looked at the schematic, but I'm thinking the audio amplifier, or is it the receiver's RF amplifier is the same as the transmitter's RF amplifier. It's the same transistor. I think that's the way it worked. And I don't know what a Retro 75 is. I'll have to look and see what that's all about. So the mic it came with it, I didn't think sounded too good, and I rigged up a kind of an Elvis-looking mic, hooked it up, and it wasn't too bad. It just needs a D104, but it takes a little finagling, but it's got that silly, weird cell phone type plug for the microphone, so it's always a problem. Let's see. Go ahead there, Cliff. WB4NKL, N4LQ.
Yeah, N4LQ, it's WB4NKL. I've got one of those little Novu 75s, and I'll agree, don't have much of a receiver. Yeah, they are doing something strange on it. It was something to do with the RF amplifier that's using for a receiver first stage, I believe. Kind of weird circuit. But it seemed like I fed the generator and it takes like 3 microvolts to or so before you can really hear anything. I got back home 75, Brandon and Larry and Tommy and Chad got back on there. They all signed out there just a minute or two ago. Brandon moved down to check into the Collins collector net on the 3880. They have it I guess it's the first Wednesday of every month, evidently. John, I was going to give you a Terry report. He made it through that surgery, and he was in pretty good spirits. Brandon's been texting with him. He sent Brandon a picture. Picture don't look real good, but it's like he's still swelled up some. But he said it's swelling and went down, so he must have really been swelled up to begin with. But Brian said he was in good spirits, and I'm looking forward to getting home. He's eating now, so that's a big difference. I guess I send it to you, and then back to Steve. W4JPL, it's WB4NKL.
Okay, WB4NKL, and the group now, W4JPL. Well, thank you very much, excuse me, for that report. I was wondering how he was doing, and looks like whatever they did to him was pretty successful, so that's a good thing. I'm real happy to hear that. So, yeah, I've been working around the house here, so I haven't been playing much radio, but this is the first night I was telling Steve in a while that I wasn't too tired to turn the radio on and say hello for a few minutes. So, Steve, the Retro 75 was the grandfather of the Novu. It was designed by the same guy. I forget his call, but it was SWL, K1 SWL maybe. And I bought that a long time ago and built it up, put it in a box, and listened around a little bit. But the Retro, or the Novu, is so much better because it has a digital readout and all that. I got it to work, but it's hokey. And I'm so impressed with it. I don't know what either one is right now. Packed away somewhere. So that's what's happening. Over to you, Steve, W4JPL.
All right, this is N4LQ and the old friend's net. Anybody else want to check in? Oh, come on now. I know somebody is out there just dying to check in and just can't bring themselves to squeeze the mic and if nothing else to say hello. Well, okay, let's see. I have always thought about building the pine board transmitter of Bob Howell's design. Thought that would be cool to try. And okay, on the Collins net. And one more thing coming in here, new to the shack, is the mobile antenna book of the 40 years of HF mobile antenna installation tuners compendium by W6AAQ. Found that on eBay. Those things, the guy sold it too cheap, I think. But some of them are like $180, and people are nuts, man. I tell you, if a book is halfway good and it's out of production, you can get a lot of money for it on eBay, because they've actually sold some of these things for big money. But that's written by Don Johnson, who is supposed to be the guy that invented the screwdriver antenna for cars, and they're pretty efficient, really. They're kind of like one notch below a bug catcher. That's supposed to be the most efficient of the bunch. And so this is like a tunable bug catcher, I guess. But anyway, I got that coming in just to kind of read some of the cool stuff. That's where I got that ad for the LMAC Ultimate Mobile System, which is a cool ad. And let's see. So, yeah, I love the Miko TX86. So that's going to be tomorrow's rig, and I may let it sit here for a while. I probably will get the VFO out, the digital VFO, and interface that eventually. And I'd like to just make it I've got two of them, so I might ought to just make one for 3715 and one for 3885, and just let it go at that, and then keep this Valiant down here on 160. So WB4NKL, N4LQ.
N4LQ, it's WB4NKL. Good deal, Steve. I'll have to look out for one of those books at the Hamfest. You're right, when they get out of print and still popular, they price goes north. There was one I was looking for. Doug DeMall wrote one solid state design for the radio amateur, I believe was the name of it. Those things were going crazy on eBay. I started looking at Hamfest, and I think I picked up a couple of them for cheap, $1 or $2. So it's all where you look, I guess, if you can wait. I always like to have something to, go to all these Hamfests. I like to have something on the list to look for. So I'll write that one down. A good deal on the pine board. I think it seemed like LLR Dave built one of those. I looked at them. I never did like the idea of modulating an oscillator. I think if I was going to build it, I would add one more tube and have a separate oscillator in final stage. Isolate that oscillator a little bit more. It's bound to do a little FM, and you would think, but just something you don't usually see is a modulated oscillator. A good deal on the Retro 75, John. I can't place that one either. I said it was below the Novu as far as design, I guess. But I guess, is it still AM only type deal, or I'll have to look that one up too. W4JPL, it's WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, W4JPL. Yeah, the Retro 75 was, I think it was Steve, K1SWL, designed it and was marketing it for a while. I'm pretty sure he was the guy that designed it. And it's basically almost the same thing as the Novu, I guess, except there's no digital readout. It's got a tunable receive that, it basically didn't have a cabinet or anything. You had to make your own cabinet, so basically I think it was just a board. And you could switch between two frequencies, as I recall. It works, but looks like they took that design and redid it with the for the Novu, but neither one of them are sensitive, so it's okay. It was a fun kit to build, so I like to build kits when there's something interesting and worth building. Over to you, Steve, W4JPL.
Yeah. It's in 4LQ. Let's see. Here is on eBay, a homemade 6C4 80-meter ham transmitter for parts or repair. Well, that is one of the worst photographs I've ever seen. It's just a blur. I don't know why somebody can't do better than that. It looks like it's just an oscillator. That's all it is. Kind of sloppily built and poorly photographed. But it's only $10 or best offer, free local pickup, shipping $6. Yeah, that's about the cheapest ham thing I've ever seen on eBay. So there you are, a real transmitter for $10. That I don't really think this is a transmitter. I think what this is a crystal calibrator. Really, yeah. It's got an octal plug on it with a piece of wire, and yeah, what a joke. A transmitter. Anyway, I want to try a T150 again, Nikit T150. And I think you said you had one you wanted to give me there, John. I don't know. I guess I'm just going to have to drive up there and get it. Make a point out of it. But that's just something I want to try. It's too powerful to drive an amplifier. It's probably okay barefooted. Gosh, today I was running 11 watts, I think, with a Miko barefoot, and I was hitting Larry up there with 40/9 signals. So it's actually enough power, but I just don't feel good doing it. Anyway, So another good book. I don't know if this will ever happen or not, but it's one of the best books I ever had on electronics. I picked up back in the it's back in the 70s, called 1001. I think it was transistor circuits or electronic circuits. It was about 2 inches thick, a little book, and I can't tell you how much time I have spent in that book and how many things I built out of it. It was just fantastic, and I'm pretty sure there was 1001. I did have a book for a while, 101 Uses for a Dead Cat, that was kind of a joke book, and it actually did show 101 uses for them, you know, like swing seats and slingshots and all kinds of things. WB4NKL, N4LQ.
Yeah, N4LQ, WB4NKL. I like those kind of books. I think I've got the one you're talking about, 1001 electronic circuits. I've got a couple of those. One of them are two different books, but one of them was a paperback, you know, just a regular size paperback, small type book. And then I had another one that was a hardcover, and it was about the same deal, except it was a lot of industrial circuits in it too, included. So I know a couple of those type books. But yeah, I enjoy that. And I like the old back issues of the like CQ. I've got most of the old issues of CQ. Used to have a lot of QSTs, but I haven't seen anything in QST in the last 20 years that's worth keeping. But I used to enjoy those back in the day when they had a lot of construction projects in them. And then 73 magazine, I used to have a lot of those, and since they became online, you can get all those online. I sold off the collection I had. I think I had a complete set of them, and some guy out in Arizona, somewhere out in the Northwest, I wanted them. And then after he found out how much it's going to cost to ship them, he said, well, he just wanted half of them. He wanted the early ones, so I shipped them to him. And I think I ended up giving the rest of them away to the Hamfest. But yeah, you'd think when those books get up into the $150, $200 range that they'd look into a second edition or something. But they're probably so old, the author's not even around anymore, or, you know, some kind of deal like that. W4JPL, WB4NKL.
I hear Mayor.
WB4NKL on the group W4JPL, fine business. I have a few handbooks around, ARRL handbooks, older ones. From the 50s, I think. I keep a couple of those. I got rid of the rest. I do have an April 1923 QST here that's in a plastic thing that I picked up somewhere. So that's pretty neat. The only handbook that I really liked was, and I don't know where it is, I got a hardbound handbook from Bill Orr. What's it, W6SAI? That's a good book. It seemed like it was written well and made it so people like me can understand what he's talking about. As far as QSDs are concerned, I think for probably the better part of the ARRL membership, what there is, they probably won't get that anymore because the ARRL in their wisdom decided they were going to raise the dues, which they did. And also, the members don't get QST no more unless you want to pay a bonus $25 a year for that privilege, and I'm not interested because I was getting QST, and I'm not even going to renew with the ARRL. There's no point for me, but when that's up. But the QSTs that come in, I'd look through it about 10 minutes and go right in the trash. There's, like Cliff said, there's nothing in there worth reading. It's all advertisements or stuff that's irrelevant to me anyway. So that's what the deal is. Over to you, Steve, W4JPL.
WS2, Whiskey Foxtrot 2 uniform.
Hello, Mir. I just could have sworn I heard you calling in there, but I thought maybe it was my imagination. I couldn't see anything on the display, but I heard your voice. I thought, are you coming in on somebody else's transmitter or what? But WF2U, go ahead and give us a round there. Let's see. We'll put you after Cliff next. Well, let's just go ahead and do Cliff, and then Cliff, you turn it over to Mir. How's that? Go ahead, Cliff.
Okay, Steve. I copied Mir, but he sounded, I don't know whether he was off frequency or whether he's on sideband. I didn't have a chance to retune him when you come in there. Mir, I'm not sure what you're running. I copied you, but sounded either off frequency or on sideband. So a good deal on the William Orr handbook. I've got one of them in front of me here now, John. It's a 17th edition. I guess it's out of the 60s. It's got a lot of sideband stuff in it. But it's a little bit different take on the ARRL handbook. So I've got a lot of reference books like that. They're handy when you start working on something and want to go back and check how somebody else's idea on it. Go ahead, Mir. WF2U, it's WB4NKL.
WB4NKL. This is WS2U. Can you copy me, Cliff? Over.
Yeah, copy you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's another radio. I just had one problem. I didn't have the proper cable, high current cable, and I'm feeding it with oh yeah, okay, it's coming in and out. Hello. Wait just a second. The voltage keeps dropping because the thin wire.
Hello. Is this the party to whom I am speaking?
He sort of dropped out on me, Steve.
Yeah, he's pretty weak to begin with, and now he's gone. So, yeah, he'll get something patched up there. Maybe in a few minutes. We'll try him again. I will comment on a couple of things. I threw away all my old CQs except for a couple of them, and I really shouldn't have, but I've been carrying them around with me since when I first became a ham, and they were old when I became a ham. They were all from the late 40s and all through the 50s and a few 60s issues, and I treasured those things. I mean, I devoured those things from cover to cover, and I carried them to school and to work and everything else, and I just got tired of carrying them around, I guess. But they were great. You could just read them and reread them, and I think part of the trouble is nowadays is there's so much liability issues. They don't want to tell anybody how to build anything that could be lethal or even bite you. You know, they don't want none of these dangerous circuits anymore. So that eliminated all the easy stuff. You can find stuff on the internet, like there's one I always wanted to try, a one transistor CW transceiver, and I thought, man, just to make a contact on that, it's an oscillator detector combination, and you can switch it with a switch, and that it just looked really cool. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the ARRL. I'm getting desperate emails from them because this was my last month, and they're saying, please renew, please renew. And I'm like, well, please, why did you do away with benefits and then raise your price all at the same time in one fell swoop? Dudes, that wasn't very smart. If you're going to do something stupid, do it gradually, you know? Mira, are you back?
Yeah, Roger, I'm back. It was a silly thing here. This is WFTU. Yeah, I put finally I got the connectors and put the proper microphone connector on the Electro Voice desk mic, so I can use it. I can use the JRC transceiver, and I didn't have enough. I didn't have any more heavy DC cable, so I just hooked up the darn thing with clip leads, and it kept cutting out with under voltage and all that because the current just dropped the voltage, so it kept kicking out of me. But I know that it's working now, so I just have to get some cable, like a 12 gauge or something. I mean, not a 12 gauge, about a I usually use something like 8 gauge. So that was the problem. Every time it reached the voice peak, it kicked out for under voltage. So I'm back on the SBC, but now I know that it's working. So the JSB 196 is working, and that microphone that I had is good for it. And I still haven't gotten down to troubleshooting the microphone of that Furuno transceiver. But anyway, so I'm with the SG2000 right now. At least that's working.
Over. Okay. We'll take that. Yeah. Yeah, that single sideband AM business, it sounds okay in AM mode. Now, when I'm in synchronous mode, it sounds fine until there is, I guess it's selective fading, and then once the carrier fades, all of a sudden it starts searching for the carrier and it shifts frequency real quick and tries to lock in on your audio peak, so it makes kind of a whoop, and then as soon as your carrier comes back up, it settles down. So if you're listening to the recording on YouTube, you would hear it every now and then. It'll make kind of a whoop, and that's just a characteristic of. I've noticed that on anybody that does that, and any of the software. It seems like it doesn't know what to do. There's only one sideband, and the carrier goes away. It can't lock in on anything. Kind of weird, but other than that, it sounds okay. So let's see. So I was complaining about the dues, and I'll go ahead and turn it back to John. W4JPL. Let's see if anybody, drag your feet, see if anybody else is here. N4LQ.
Consider my feet drug. N4LQ W4JPL. Yeah, I will not renew the ARRL. I don't see the point, for me anyway. Let me turn my power down a little bit. For some reason, when I start using this amp, it puts out so much power, and then the more I use it, it seems like at the same power level input, it puts more out, and I don't want to fry my pretty little Elecraft amp. Got about 200 watts on peaks, 150 watts on peaks. I'm trying to keep it down below that. And as far as bunch of books is concerned, yeah, the internet's pretty much killed that, because you can find out anything you need to know online now, and you can get several different opinions, and they're not always right, but you can get several different opinions. Fellas, I'm going to jump out of here. I got to get up real early tomorrow to get over to Kernsville. I got to be in there by 7 a.m. to get my shots. I like to get in and get out. So, Cliff, thank you for the update on Terry. and I'll talk to you guys, I'm sure, sometime tomorrow. 73 WB4NKL and the group W4JPL. And hello, Mir. Goodbye, Mir.
W4JPL, it's WB4NKL, 73's, John. And I'll probably be on the 3885 in the morning, but I can't stay long. I've got the railroad breakfast, and I usually head out a little bit after 8, so I'll miss the old friends net. And I'd like to come back down to that sometime. I can't make it this go around, but Chuck's wanting to do it again. We'll have to try to get together and try to make that one of the spring meets. Yeah, the QST. I used to subscribe years and years ago, but Ham that I worked with, he's a lifetime member, and for the last 40 years, he's passed along his QST when he got through looking at it. I've been cheating all these years, and I still do that. I'll go by his place there tomorrow and pick up the latest QST or the latest one he's got. But I wouldn't subscribe now. I mean, he gives me those, and I can scan it, and I look at what their old equipment. They got that that section of, with the old equipment in it. But I would say if I spend 10 minutes on it, it's probably a long time. So it's usually don't spend too much time in my hands. There's a lot of stuff on the internet. I like that site, that you're talking about with all the old magazines and stuff, Steve. But I still would rather have the magazine in my hand. It's one thing to look through it on the internet, but it's I don't know. I just enjoy it more to have the magazine where I can scan it and look at it, photograph it if I want to. So go ahead, Mary. You had a lot more carrier on this rig. On the other rig, I could copy you, but your carrier was a lot weaker. WF2U, it's WB4NKL.
Yeah, Roger. WB4NKL and the group WF2U. Yeah, the other one didn't put out full power because there's voltage drop. So I said it requires a 30 amp minimum. No, actually they specify a 40 amp power supply, which I do have. But I was using just clip leads. About 2 feet long. No, what is it? About 3 feet long clip lead. And it kept kicking off with a message under voltage. And every time I got to a peak, and it only put out like 20 watt carrier. And whenever it hit some hard peak on modulation, it just shut down. So anyway, has a lot of protection circuit. So it was silly. I just wanted to make sure that this microphone is working with it. And also it works on CW. I had a key connected to it. It could take some dots, but as soon as I did a dash, it kicked off again. But anyway, so I just have to get the proper cable. And anyway, so at least I'm glad that thing works. I had to also reprogram it for general coverage because it only covered the marine band before transmit, and lower side then was not activated. So I have to get into the service program and activate all that stuff and activate general coverage transmit. So, and AM on all the bands also, because AM normally on these transceivers activated only on the 2 megahertz marine band, and that's for usually emergency communication. So they have the AM option on that, but I just have to enable it all across the board. But anyway, so that's what I was playing with. I came in here at 7 and soldered the copper connector on my Electro Voice low impedance test microphone, which I got in one of the recent handfests. I think maybe even in Shelby, for $25. It looks like brand new, and that's exactly the impedance that I need. 500 ohm dynamic. So it seems to be working okay also. Anyway, so otherwise I had a nice birding morning today. It was very chilly when I got to the farm in Boston, and by the end I just had a light hoodie on instead of my winter jacket, and the dogs enjoyed it. Just working in the cool weather. Even my 15-plus-year-old dog was very perky in the cold. He hates heat. So we had a nice time, and then I had to stop by Ingalls to do a little list for the XYL, and came home. We had to go to the Verizon store. She had her phone is very strange. It's completely disconnected. We are on Verizon, and it acted like it has no SIM. It was just not connecting to the phone company, to the cell site, and it showed always like a half of the signal strength as mine, and it's the same model. Mine is just a year newer, and so we ran down to the Verizon store. They, instead of the SIM card, they uploaded the eSIM on it, which is now on the new phone. You don't even need the card. They just download the SIM card in it, and it connected like a couple of minutes. Just as we left the store, on the way home, it disconnected again and couldn't connect. So tomorrow I have to take the phone while I'm in Spartanburg and go to the Verizon place again and have to look at it again. A different store, probably somebody will know what's going on. I checked all the settings; they are okay, just like mine. So the phone must be really on its way out or something. Anyway, so that's the big day that I had today. If anybody's interested, but that's what it is. Yes, you're both pretty strong, and John was also strong, but not as strong as you, Cliff, and Steve. So I guess it goes back to Steve. M4LQ, WFTU.
Okay. Anybody else want to check in? That's N4LQ. I got my receiver bandwidth down on you, Mir, down to like 2.5 on one sideband. That's about as wide as you are. Most of your audio is right there in the mid-range area, not a lot of highs. So you certainly don't take up a lot of room doing that. That's for sure. Well, let's see. I downloaded the Magnometer app on my phone today. Who was it? Glenn's suggestion, I believe. Yeah, it's pretty easy. You don't do that sometime here if you don't already have it. I think it's just called magnometer, something like that, and it's pretty sophisticated, really. It reads out in micro Teslas, and I'm just moving it around the shack here, and the strongest magnetic field was down there around my subwoofer, and it just pegged the meter. It went into the red area because of the big woofer, I guess, the magnet. Of course, the Valiant set it off pretty good in certain spots, and when I transmitted, everything changed as to the location of the field. But we were sitting in the parking lot today, munching on our tacos, and I got the phone out and started moving it around the truck, and I got it near the steering wheel, and I started seeing the bar graph go up, and I found the place on the steering wheel where it just absolutely just pegged the meter. I mean, it was way up there. The power was turned off, of course. We were just sitting there in the sun enjoying our tacos, and but that was the only place I could find in the whole truck like that. So there must be a magnet inside the steering wheel, right? It's pretty close to the arm on the right, where I think there's a cruise control button or something like that. So I don't know what that would be, unless it's something to do with position indicator, rotation speed, or something. It's kind of interesting. And the weak phone, I don't know, Mir. What would cause that? I think mine seems like it's weaker than it used to be. And I used to get what's the level 5 cell service every now and then in some spots, and I'm not getting that now, so I don't know if the cell towers reduced their power or if my phone just became less sensitive or what. But we switched from Verizon over to Spectrum, same phone, and they're supposedly using Verizon's service. But sometimes I get the impression maybe it's not quite as robust or something. Something isn't quite the same. Anyway, go ahead. Cliff WB4 NKL, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4 NKL. I've got a Apple phone. It's an older one. I've had it about several years, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, and the battery's getting weak in it. And what I've noticed, used to, when I first got it, the battery lasted about 3 days. Now it's about less than 2, except if I go out walking when it's real cold, this zaps the juice out of that battery. It'll start out here with a full charge, and 30 minutes later, if you're down in 30 degrees, it'll be down almost completely discharged. So my wife had an Apple phone. There's a place here in Greenville that will swap out those batteries. So I might take it and let them change the battery out. The phone works fine except for that. But I don't know. I guess I hadn't looked for that magnometer program. It's probably available for Apple phones too. Might be kind of interesting. I don't know what that'd be in your steering wheel, Steve, why they would have a magnet. I know my daughter's Subaru's got a heated steering wheel. I guess that'd make it light up if you had that heating function turned on. Probably would. It's running on DC, so it'd probably create a pretty good magnetic effect. Maybe you got a heated steering wheel and don't know it. Hard to say. I guess I'll make this my last when it's getting close to the 9 o'clock time it gets back around to me, and go in and spend a little bit of time with the wife before bedtime. She says she don't see me too often. So I think that's a good thing. 73s, go ahead, Mayor. WF2U, WB4 NKL.
You're very good, Cliff. One second, let me see. Okay. No, I thought that my SWR jumped. Yeah, Cliff, okay. I'm watching the SWR meter and I think it was paralyzed because I leaned away from it and it looked like the SWR looked like it was about 3. What the heck? Anyway, yeah, I never had an Apple phone, and we've been on the Samsung Galaxy almost since its inception, which is going up in models as the years progress. I still have the XYL's Galaxy 7, which I'm going to leave for her while I'm taking her phone to the Verizon place. At least she can get on the internet and message with it on the Facebook Messenger on Wi-Fi, even if she can't make phone calls, but she can at least send messages. And I told her if she needs something or she has any problem, instead of calling, just send me a Facebook Messenger message and I'll respond immediately while I'm away. So I'll be at the luncheon. I have a little list to Costco, and I have to run down to Harley's Electronics on the way home because I need to buy and I have to take the 2 radios here, the JRC and the Furuno, because the JRC has a funky connector with rather small pins, but you have to connect like 4 on each pole of the tower. And if they're all not connected, then I have no way to connect all of them. It's like 2 rows of pins. The bottom row is all negative, and the top row is all positive. So they have all kinds of inserts of various sizes that they sell. So I have to take the radios and fit some kind of a female insert that at least I can solder some wires to it and plug it in that way. And the Furuno is big. It's the size of the old computer power connectors, the 4 pole, but it has a completely different key. So I need probably to pick up some female inserts and make the cable. Right now it went because I squeezed some automotive connectors on it. It makes contact, but it's not a good way to do it, so it leaves that. Anyway, I'm just about to quit anyway, so 70, Steve, I assume you're going to go to the luncheon, and well, anyway, if you need something from Holly, you can join me there while you're on the way home. So take care, everybody. Have a good night, and I'm almost out of here. N4LQ and W2NKL, this is WRCU 73.
All right, Mayor, thanks for the offer. I'm going to have a car load. It'd be me and Gary and John, KZ4B, and Brian. So we'll be coming down probably in my truck. I doubt if we'll make it to Harley's. Last time I went there, I bought a TV antenna. Boy, it's a nice one too. It's one of those, a 4-bay bow tie, and it's a double 4-bay bow tie. Man, oh man, what an antenna! I put that up, and I hadn't had to worry about it since. The thing is super, super powerful. So it took care of our little problem. I tried all kinds of different little cheapy antenna. Well, they weren't cheap. Remote powered antennas and all that, and none of them were any good. But this thing is, of course, non-powered. It just works. And so, Cliff, on the heated steering wheel, no, it doesn't have one. My car does. I wish the truck did sometimes. It feels kind of good. But anyway, the power was totally off, dead, no power anywhere. So I think it's a permanent magnet that must be in the steering wheel. Maybe I'll Google that, see what I can find. So anyway, have a good time at your railroad meeting, and we'll see you tomorrow, Mayor, at the luncheon. This is N4LQ saying good night, closing the net.